Hello guys, here with a new video for the channel. I hope you like it, and if you like it, don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now without further ado, get comfortable. Let's begin. Kakarot would have passed to the Ultra Instinct perfectly, giving him a great blow, making him fly thousands of kilometers. I have to finish off that guy before he becomes a threat to everyone. On the other hand, in another multiverse, there was another Supreme Archangel. So the Golden Azoru is gradually awakening all his power. This will be very interesting. Returning with warriors, they would be given a great battle, and making the whole multiverse rumble after a few moments, Archon began to have the advantage, and Kakarot, being very impulsive, would not be able to accept that his opponent was much more powerful than him, so he took his power to the limit, and Kakarot would go back to imperfect Ultra Instinct. This transformation's not 100% mastered, but if I don't use it, this will be the end of me. Kakarot began to increase his powers in an incredible way. After a while, Kakarot finished his transformation. He had an imposing look that would make any warrior tremble. What the hell? What is this transformation? Behold the power of the amazing Super Saiyan Ultra Instinct Phase 3. Kakarot, by raising his power a little more, would make the entire universe tremble, and millions of planets and galaxies would be destroyed by such power. Meanwhile, on the floating castle, damn it! Is there perhaps another subject to the level of a Supreme Archangel? Who the hell is this power? Susano, come immediately. Tell me, sir. How can I help you? Investigate those whose great power it is. Susano with the technique could observe who emanated such great power. The subject that emanates this great power is Kakarot from the old Universe 14. What did you say? That's impossible! 2 Golden Azorus exist. On the other hand, on a very distant planet was Yamoshi. It's impossible for me, a legendary Saiyan, to lose against that simple Saiyan. My power is unlimited. No one can make me stand up to me. However, I don't feel that way. I feel that damned thing is at my level without having all his power, so I better raise my power. Yamoshi would go into his combat form, turning all of his hair white. Meanwhile, with Archon and Kakarot, they would be very hurt. However, Kakarot would have the advantage a bit, giving him a fury of blows. Dragon God Destroyer attack! Die! This great attack would cause Archon to perish immediately. Meanwhile, inside the time room, the Saiyans would have raised their power in a surprising way. It's time for them to face me. I have a level similar to that of the Supreme Archangels. Everyone would get into a battle pose and raise their ki. These are not my companions, they're my family, and you realize that my family's very powerful. They would all start with attack, however Goku evades all of their attacks. You have the power to hit us, but you don't. Also attack us. However, before Nin finished saying that, they all received some heavy blows that would leave him dying on the ground breathless. Damn, the distance that separates his power and ours is bestial. Kinoto would get up from the floor and with a serious look, he would stare at him. Son Goku, it's time to face us with all your power. Kinoto would be raising his power, making the whole room rumble. Everyone present was surprised. How could Kinoto have all that overwhelming power? Everyone was in shock, except Goku, who already knew of the incredible power of Kinoto. Goku put himself in a fighting pose and would raise his power even more. Everyone present could barely stand up. However, in a few milliseconds, both warriors would already be exchanging blows.
I see that you have great power. However, it wouldn't be enough to defeat the Supreme Dark Super Saiyan. Don't underestimate me. I'm the legendary God Saiyan Kakaroto.
From one moment to another, he raised his power much more, giving him some very good blows, making Kinoto fall to the ground. Meanwhile, outside the time room, Kakaroto would be very injured because he used much more power to manage to defeat his enemy. He would fall unconscious. After a while, everyone left the time room, where everyone saw everything destroyed and would see Kakaroto very badly injured. Nin would quickly heal him. Meanwhile, in the floating castle, he found Kronos talking to Akira.
We must use all our strength against that Saiyan, so it better be to send the god-killing demon. No, it will be pulverized. It will be better to see the memories of that Golden Ozoru and see if he has any potential enemies that are capable of raising his power in an amazing way with that right training.
These would call Susanoo, asking him to investigate the life of the Golden Ozoru. After a while, Susanoo would return.
In the whole of Son Goku, there were two great enemies that were able to almost exterminate him. The first was Frieza, a cold demon, and Cell, a warrior who had the ability to absorb warriors.
Kronos, with all the bestial powers of him, would bring these two subjects to life, and the two would fall to the ground without being able to breathe. Kronos would explain everything to Frieza and Cell.
You were chosen to kill the Golden Ozoru, or better known as Son Goku.
Where both villains would get angry.
We will do anything to kill that monkey.
Returning to the planet of Nin.
What happened, Kakaroto?
Kakaroto would begin to tell everything that had happened.
I faced a warrior named Darkon that the Supreme Archangels had sent to exterminate you. You also need rigorous training to raise all your power. If you're really my counterpart, your power will be as great as mine, and I'm sure you'll achieve the level in my transformation.
You're right. I think it's time to go back to training to once again be known as Kakaroto, the Saiyan kills gods.
Goku and Kinoto, you two are the most powerful, and can't you perceive the key of the Archangels?
Both Saiyans would shake their heads. However, after a while, Goku and Kakaroto from Universe 14 would enter the time room, where they would have a difficult training. Goku would try to get his counterpart to reach the same level as him. After a few days, Kakaroto would master the full power Ultra Instinct transformation. However, he did not have enough power to defeat Son Goku. Goku, with his immense power, would make Kakaroto grow a tail, and he would create a moon for Kakaroto to go into the Ozoru state. However, he would not control said state, spending months training, and state Kakaroto would have a little against. Meanwhile, outside the time room were the others.
We should attack first. It should be our turn to catch them off guard. We can't do that. We need an attack strategy, and we also need the power of Son Goku to be able to beat all those warriors.
I know your power's enough, if we can do it.
No, damn bugs! What do you not understand?
Everyone would bow their head when observing that Kinoto was very upset. Meanwhile, in the floating castle, Kronos was a little worried since he felt the power of two Kakarots, and from one moment to another they disappeared. Kronos would be a little bewildered as he didn't know what was going on.
If those two guys aren't there, the rest should be an easy target. Susanoo, come immediately.
Susanoo would arrive at Kronos bowing.
Those two guys, how's the training going? Do you think they're ready?
Susanoo would shake his head.
No, my lord. It is still too early for them to face that Saiyan.
Meanwhile, in the training camp, Frieza and Cell would have increased their power greatly. Frieza would have achieved a new transformation, making their power overwhelming. However, Cell would not be far behind. He would have reached the golden state. Both warriors, they would think they would have enough power to take down Son Goku. However, a voice would respond through space With that power, you are no match for Son Goku or his weakest companions. The power of the Golden Ozoru is unreal. You must increase your powers much more or increase your reflexes. Where a ray would go through Frieza, causing him to fall to the ground very injured. After that event, every day they went through something similar. For a few weeks, the body of both were so resistant to the initial rays, did nothing to him, and his powers were abysmal. Surprising that the king of everything, however, they would still be below the power of Son Goku's friends.
I have no idea. The powers increased much faster. We are going to make them to the planet where the demonic water exists.
So Frieza and Cell went to that planet to drink the water of the demons. However, before entering that water,
you must have enough power and a strong mind. Otherwise, this water will consume you completely and you won't be able to do anything.
Frieza and Cell entered, and at that moment they made contact with the demonic water. They began to scream in pain. After a few seconds, they both came out looking the same, but something to notice was their incredible increase in power.
Their power is now immense and is equivalent to a middle-class archangel, but they need to get used to said power.
Everyone would return to the training camp to master all the power obtained. Meanwhile, returning to the Neen planet, they were all on the defensive of some new warrior because that entire multiverse would have been shaken by a surprising power. On the other hand, inside the time room, Goku and Kakarot would continue training, and Kakarot would already dominate his Ozoru form.
Now in your Ozoru form, transform into Super Saiyan!
But it was much more difficult for Kakaroto. That's right, he couldn't access the Super Saiyan, but he wouldn't give up, and from one moment to another, the Ozoru's fur would turn gray. Goku would be a little confused when observing Kakaroto's color.
What does this mean? I didn't go through that transformation. What's that transformation?
Kakaroto would begin to overflow great power, that is. Kakaroto would have achieved the Super Saiyan phase for Ultra Instinct. The power that is emanated was immense. However, it did not exceed the power of Son Goku. After a few days training, these would come out of the room, and at the time of the leaving, Kronos and Yamoshi would feel the abysmal power of these two.
What the hell? Who are these powers? Those powers seem to have no limits.
Kronos would communicate telepathically with Yamoshi.
Yamoshi, come immediately. We need to talk urgently.
Yamoshi would go to Kronos' castle.
Kronos, perhaps you're training two mortals?
These mortals were potential enemies of the Golden Ozoru.
Yamoshi was understanding them.
But Yamoshi does not deviate from the subject. Have you felt all that bestial power?
That's right, Kronos.
They really are immense powers, but if you say you have two warriors to finish off the cursed Kakaroto, I want to see them.
Yamoshi would be heading to the training ground.
If you were a potential opponent of the Golden Ozoru, face me and make me use a large part of my power.
However, the two villains being underestimated in this way, both would launch the attack. However, Yamoshi was evading each of the attacks with ease. However, from one moment to the next, both increased their speed and power, surprising Yamoshi would take a few good hits and fall to the ground. Furious, Yamoshi would get to his feet and go into his fighting form.
Damn! Do you think you have the power to face me? In the same instant, I'll crush them like the garbage that they are.
Yamoshi switched to his combat form, and without warning, he launched into the attack, giving both villains some very good blows. The battle would continue for a few more minutes, where both villains would take the advantage, until from one moment to another, he would stop the attack that Yamoshi was going to receive. After a few moments, Yamoshi and Kronos began to train.
A strange force was taking away my power little by little.
What they both didn't know was that Frieza and Cell would have created a technique that would have snatched the energy, leaving the rival without any power, and this technique would be called Rapture of Gods. After a while, both warriors were already prepared to go face Son Goku. Frieza and Cell had a special technique in case Son Goku turned out to be much more powerful than them. Meanwhile, on the planet of the goddess Nin, everyone would be gathered. However, Kinoto was a little surprised, realizing that the power of Kakarot of Universe 14 was very close to his level.
What kind of training do you have? All I did was focus on all my goals and want to outdo myself. That's impossible. I can't believe it. Just with that, you couldn't raise your power in an amazing way. What kind of training do you have? Kinoto, relax. We're all friends here. We don't have to fight between us.
Goku would raise up his power a bit, making everyone calm down. Meanwhile, in the floating castle, Cell and Frieza would already be preparing for their mission, but before going on the planet of the goddess Nin, Kronos approached them.
The Golden Ozoru, or Son Goku as you know him, has not awakened his full power, so it is better to finish him off quickly.
They would both agree and go to Nin's planet. After a few moments, everyone on Nin's planet would feel that power. However, Goku would recognize these powers.
Those ki are from Frieza and Cell. Apparently the Archangels have revived two of my greatest rivals.
After some time, the two villains would reach the battlefield.
Yeah, monkey. Finally today you will die.
That's right, Son Goku.
You are very powerful, but you can't against us two together. I'm not alone. Can't you see my family? No, we will trust each other, so from now on, I'll use my maximum power.
Frieza would go on to his new transformation called Diamond Frieza. And Cell by having the Saiyan cells go to Super Saiyan Blue. All those present would be surprised by such power.
What the hell? How long have they been training?
Ha ha ha! You don't remember that we're the prodigies. You better be prepared, Son Goku.
However, a voice would resound from everyone's back.
Son Goku, let us take care of this to us.
Kakarot from Universe 14 would also come forward, where both villains were surprised by the presence of two Gokus.
Two Gokus? What's going on? Don't get too confused, Cold Demon. I'm Kakarot from Universe 14, so get ready. I'll tear you to pieces.
After a moment, the battle would begin. The whole universe would begin to shake in a bestial way. Frieza and Kakarot exchanged some very good blows between them.
I see that you have great power, but that will not be enough for you to defeat the evil Emperor.
Meanwhile, with Cell and Kinoto, they were also exchanging blows. However, Kinoto would be fighting at the same level as Cell since he wanted to test the level of his opponent. Goku and the others would be watching the entire battle. After a moment, the warriors appeared.
I see that they're powerful, but they won't be able to defeat us. Don't be so confident, since we're not using our full power.
Cell and Frieza would get even angrier, renewing the entire battle, this time shaking the 12 universes, exchanging blows for a few minutes. The warriors would separate, staring at each other. Meanwhile, in a floating castle, Kronos and Yamoshi were looking at such monstrous power.
Those two have increased their power in an incredible way.
You're right, Yamoshi. And you thought they were simple worms.
Meanwhile, in another multiverse,
those subordinates sent by Kronos have great power. They are at the level of a high-class Supreme Archangel, so the most powerful enemies of the Golden Ozaru are also to be feared.
Returning to the battlefield, those would be the very close battle. The intensity was so much that it could even be felt reaching other multiverses.
Well, this was good for a warm-up. It's time to use all our power.
Kinoto would increase his power in an incredible way.
If Kinoto increases all his power, I'll do the same.
Kakaroto, like Kinoto, was raising his power in a surprising way. That's right, both began to increase their power in an incredible way, causing all the universes to tremble. After a few moments, both warriors would be seen at 100% of all their power. However, Cell and Frieza would be observing how they increased their power to the maximum. They would do the same. That's right, both began to raise their power in an incredible way, having a power similar to that of the two Saiyans. The final battle would resume. However, there's no clear winner. Meanwhile, on the floating castle,
Damn it! Those two do not use their full power!
How come they're not using their full power? Or do they have even more power?
Those two have much more power and are overconfident.
Yamoshi would be surprised, knowing that the two mere mortals had amazing power. Meanwhile, Frieza and Cell would be confident they realized that the two Saiyans would be using all their power.
Simple monkeys, we're not using our full power.
Frieza and Cell would begin to take the battle a little more seriously, having more and more advantage. However, Kakaroto and Kinoto would be trying to resist such a monstrous attack.
It's impressive how these two have increased their power in a ridiculous, incredible way, surpassing even the power of Kinoto and Kakaroto. If things continue like this, I'll have to intervene.
Returning to the fight, Kakaroto and Kinoto would appear very injured and tired. It'd be even seen at a glance that they had trouble breathing, while Frieza and Cell would not even be affected by their breathing. That's right, they were like at the beginning of the fight.
Those two aren't using all their power, and apparently it's not difficult for them to defeat Kinoto or Kakaroto.
Goku would take a step forward.
I see that their powers have increased greatly. Perhaps they're worthy opponents.
Frieza and Cell would get a little angry about that comment. At the moment, Frieza would launch the attack.
Damn you, monkey! Don't underestimate us! We'll kill you!
Cell would support Frieza launching into the attack too. However, Goku would be able to observe all his movements, and with two strong blows, he would leave them lying on the ground very injured. Goku would put himself in the battle pose until Frieza and Cell would recover from the blows, launching into an attack. After a few moments of exchanging blows and ki blasts, Goku would be humiliating both warriors. Meanwhile, in the floating castle, Kronos was very surprised to realize that those two had already used all their power, and they would not be able to make Goku use a little of his immense power.
That Saiyan becomes more powerful every day. He really is the golden legendary.
Going back to the battlefield, Goku would continue to humiliate both villains until leaving them on the ground. Goku would stop his attack.
I have no intention of killing them, so get out of here. Don't cause any problems in this universe again, or else I'll have to exterminate them.
Frieza and Cell would get up very weakened.
You always trust Goku. Now let's see what you do with this. Union of Souls!
A great light would blind everyone, and a power that would make the entire multiverse rumble, destroying planets and galaxies. When Goku felt all the power that they emanated, he would be perplexed.
That's not a normal fusion. What the hell have they done?
At that moment that the light dissipated, a new warrior would appear, who would be the fusion of Cell and Frieza.
Son Goku, you have taken us too far. Contemplate the true power of a god.
Without warning, this new warrior would give Goku a great blow that would send him flying hundreds of kilometers, and at a maximum speed he would appear behind him, giving him a strong blow. Goku would be a little injured from these two simple blows. After a few moments, Goku would be injured. However, he'd stand up.
His united power is impressive. Since separated, they were nothing more than simple flies. Now I'll have a worthy rival of whom I can use all my majestic power.
Goku would then begin to rise his power in a bestial way, where the same planet, universes, and timelines were affected by this great power. When Goku finished raising all his power, he would return to observe them.
I hope you're ready, since I'm at 80% of my full power now.
Everyone would be surprised, since the power that is emanated was immense. After a moment, Goku would come out of the crater that they had sent him.
This is a worthy opponent. To be able to defeat him, I'll have to use all my power.
Feeling that the power of his enemy and was not losing, Goku decided to use much more power. However, Frieza was not surprised by such an increase in power, and after a moment, Goku would finish raising his power without warning. At the speed of the light, Goku would give him a shrapnel of blows, and that's how the battle would decide the future of the entire multiverse begin. The clashes of his fists were so bestial that they distorted reality itself.
Is that a battle? Not even beings of our level can even see them.
So Son Goku, you've been holding back all this time and your power level is amazing.
Sometime later, both warriors appeared. However, Frieza would have fewer wounds than Son Goku.
Oh, I see that you are trying, damn monkey. But even with all the efforts you make, you will not be able to defeat us.
Meanwhile, in another multiverse, there was a Supreme Archangel.
That immense power that is felt is capable of defeating most of the Supreme Archangels. Only King-level Archangels are capable of facing that power. But hopefully that warrior is capable of defeating the Golden Ozoru, since I don't want to be the one to take care of that damned insect myself.
Returning to the battlefield, Goku would have many more wounds.
You've increased your power level in a great way. You're the most powerful rival I've ever faced. You're perfect to test my new power.
What no one knew was that the power that Goku showed was his maximum power before he entered the time room. That's right, Goku would raise his power a little more, power that he obtained with his hard training. Goku, some very good blows, would make the fusion writhe in pain as it felt the greatest agony ever felt.
I gave you one last chance to leave, but you decided to waste it. Now I'll exterminate you!
Goku would be able to eliminate Frieza with a powerful energy slingshot, but at that precise moment a new warrior would appear on the battlefield, stopping Goku's great attack.
I don't think your power would reach that much. The power is amazing. You made me use 35% of my power to stop your attack.
A new warrior would have appeared on the battlefield, stopping Son Goku's attack with extreme ease.
Who are you? And what are you looking for in this place?
My name is Raziel, and all I seek is the annihilation of all megaverses.
This would return to see Frieza.
I see that they have a great hidden power. They should not die here today.
Raziel would make a technique which would make Frieza return to the floating castle. At the moment they arrived, Kronos would be surprised.
What happened? How did they get back?
Kronos, through his crystal ball, would observe everything that happened, noticing the warrior who was in front of the Golden Ozaru.
It's impossible! They have sent Raziel!
Flashback, Raziel was at the level of the Supreme Archangel. His power was so much that his archangels feared his power, until one day one of the archangels confronted him. Since he did not belong to that place, the battle that took place I carried out was terrifying for that multiverse. However, Raziel turned out to be a little stronger than that archangel, being able to defeat him. From that moment, all the other archangels feared his amazing power. Even the most powerful warrior knows the defeat at some point in his life. That's right, Raziel, overshadowed by the great power of the legendary Golden Ozaru, the Great Kakarot. Raziel would train non-stop until he found out that he would have been banished from his power, and millions of years later, he would be reborn without any of his memories or powers. Raziel, learning that the Golden Ozaru had already been reborn, allowed him to become much more powerful in order to have a worthy fight. End of flashback. Goku would get into a fighting pose. At that moment, Raziel would increase his fighting level a bit, causing a surprising gravity to drop throughout the place.
The power of this guy is extreme! Even I find it hard to breathe.
After a few moments, Raziel launched the attack. At the precise moment, Goku raised all his remaining power, since he knew that the beginning in front of him had to face him with all his power. Both warriors began with an incredible battle. Meanwhile, in the floating castle, Kronos was observing the great battle.
Those two monsters, I don't know how the hell they have so much power.
Meanwhile, in the underworld, Ryuk was a little surprised due to the powers that he perceived.
We really should increase our powers much more. If not, we would be rivals for those guys.
Returning to the battlefield, the clash of fists would continue, while they exchanged blows.
You are disappointing me, Golden Ozaru. You really are not the one I faced millions of years ago. Did you and I already face each other? I don't remember you.
At that moment, without warning, Raziel would launch a large ball of energy at him that would make Goku fall to the planet very badly injured. Raziel would rise into the air.
Great Kakarot, Golden Ozaru. You have really disappointed me. I did not think that my rival would be so weak.
Raziel would charge an even greater power. Nevertheless, by condensing much more power, the attack was slow, but Nin was the difficulty due to the gravity would heal Goku.
I think I'll die if I don't use this technique, but I'll still die if that attack collides with us.
Goku would then raise his power to the maximum, breaking all his limits.
Kaioken! Enhance 100 times!
The power that this would have released would be incredible, managing to return all that massive attack in a single blow.
I knew you'd have much more power. That's Golden Ozaru. Show me what you're capable of.
Goku, without warning, would begin to slaughter Raziel that would make him fall to the ground again and again. However, he would not have any scratches. Furious, Goku would concentrate all his power in his fist.
Dragon God Destroyer! Explosive blow!
An immense dragon would come out of his fist. Raziel would raise his power a little more and was able to stop that colossal attack with one hand. Everyone present was surprised.
Impossible! I concentrate all my power in that attack. How did you stop it?
You cannot have stopped it with one hand. Raziel would whisper something in the ear, and a strong blow to the back of his neck would knock him out. Raziel would rise to the sky.
The Golden Ozaru made me use 45% of all my power. Just for that, I'll spare your lives this time. But don't get excited, because the next time we meet, we'll be enemies to the death.
Raziel would disappear from that place. Meanwhile, in the floating castle, a very furious Kronos.
What the hell is happening to Raziel? That damn had the power to exterminate him and he didn't do it!
The Golden Ozaru was the only one that made Raziel to feel defeat, and Son Goku is not at the level he was before. Most likely Raziel wants to defeat Son Goku when he has all his power, so he can defeat will be much more humiliating. Kronos would calm down a bit from the explanation that Yamoshi would have given him.
Let's hope this doesn't get out of hand for Raziel.
Returning to Nin's planet, Goku was very badly injured. Raziel would have left him in a terrible condition, that he was even on the verge of death. Nin would begin to heal him with his great power, but he would not wake up. What Raziel had not done was awaken a large part of his memories of the past, and that he would be able to overcome the Great Barrier of Power and gave him a great battle again, since it is the combat that he's waiting for. And the friends of Goku, they would be very worried. His ki is stable, and his wounds are healed. Why doesn't he wake up? No one present would be able to answer, and the only thing they could do was wait for the one hope to awaken. However, the Saiyans would be furious at not being able to help at all, and being prey to that incredible pressure would have crushed them as if the gravity was involved. They had it was insufficient to defeat the enemies that were about to face. On the other hand, in the mind of Son Goku, or to be more exact in his memories, he could observe the Golden Ozaru, who was the protector of all the multiverses and was loved by all these beings. However, from a different megaverse came 12 beings of great power called the Supreme Archangels.
Everyone must kneel before us. We will be the new rulers of this multiverse.
The Golden Ozaru, with the help of the Crimson Ozaru, were able to eliminate 6 of those archangels. However, the Crimson Ozaru, named Miroku, would also have fallen in battle. Since then, there are only 6 Supreme Archangels. Kakarot managed to escape, but in the beings that he trusted the most and the leaders of the great clans. They betrayed him by creating a powerful seal that'd be able to suppress much of his power and would make him perish imminently. But before he died, he used his technique to be able to be reborn and keep his memories sealed. What Raziel would have done was for all those memories to be recovered little by little, including his great power that was feared by the Supreme Archangels. Meanwhile, Raziel was in a very distant place.
Son Goku, your power is not even 1/10 of the power you had before, so make yourself much more powerful and give me the battle that I've really longed for millions of years. Only you can be my rival.
Meanwhile, in the floating castle, Kronos was talking to Akira. Raziel, believing himself to be the most powerful, he thinks that he can do whatever he wants. Hopefully he'll be defeated for being so trusting.
No. If the Golden Ozoru defeats Raziel, the next on his list will be us. The most advisable thing is that those two kill each other, or when one of them's well wounded, we'll give him the coup de grace.
I want to be the one to give him the damned Raziel the coup de grace. He took everything from me and humiliated me so many times. Meanwhile, in the training field, Frieza and Cell would be furious since they are training. They could not be at the level of Son Goku, where they would train harder to be able to take revenge on that damn monkey. However, returning to Need's planet, everyone would be resting unannounced. Damn, do you think they would get away with them after having killed my younger brother, the Crimson Ozoru? I'll kill them one by one, I swear! Goku, being unconscious, would say a few words that would especially astonish Kurobi, since he would have heard the existence of the Crimson Ozoru. What is happening to my Goku? No one would know what this would be happening to him. Meanwhile, very far from that place, on an inhospitable planet, was Raziel.
Son Goku, make yourself much more powerful, since I need your power to be the end of the negative energy once and for all, and you are the only one who can help me.
Meanwhile, in the floating castle, Kronos was a little thoughtful since it would have been a few days until Ryuk would arrive at the castle and bow.
Sir, in the underworld we have trained very hard in order to be of help in this great battle that's approaching.
Are you so sure you have increased your battle power to a comparable level to be of help against the Golden Ozoru?
Of course not, sir. I don't have the power, but he does.
From the shadows would come a warrior that would make even Kronos tremble in the palace where they were located due to the great key that he initiated.
Nice to meet you, Zeno-sama. My name is Dante, the servant of death. I'm under his orders.
I think that Dante and the other two warriors you have training will be more than enough to defeat the Golden Ozoru.
Keep in touch with Ryuk. Very soon I'll give the final attack.
Ryuk and Dante would make a reference leaving that place. Kronos would call Susanoo.
Go look at those two guys and tell me if their power has increased in a big way or not.
Susanoo would go to the training field where Cell and Frieza would be in a fight. But before taking a powerful blow, Susanoo would appear in the middle of the two, stopping their blows with extreme ease.
I need you to raise all your power to the maximum and be able to dominate it.
Both villains raised him. Cell would go to Super Saiyan Blue maximum power, while Frieza would go to Diamond Frieza maximum power, where his power would have risen to an incredible way. However, they would not be rivals for the Golden Ozoru. Susanoo would create a room so that his training would be much more effective.
In this room, time passes differently. While here only one day passes outside, 10 years will pass inside. Train as much as you can, because soon you will face the Golden Ozoru again.
Strongest training would have until then. Susanoo would return to Kronos.
They did increase their fighting level, but it's still low. I make them train in another dimension and raise their powers much faster.
Will gives them 3 days to train so that they can become more powerful at the end of those 3 days. They'll go to face the Golden Ozoru to help with Dante. I want to put an end to this once and for all. What will happen next? Find out in the next chapter. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.